Good afternoon. Welcome to Midcap Radar. I'm Reema Tendulkar. With me is Sonal Bhutra, and these are the top stories at 1:30 p.m. Indices come off session highs even as the Nifty holds above 18,000 mark. The midcaps underperform, IT banks gain, realty slips.
Yes Bank tanks after the Bombay High Court quashes a decision by the lender in March 2020 to write down its additional Tier 1 bonds worth over 8,000 crore rupees to zero.
Canfin Homes gains on positive brokerage commentary, a buy rating from DAM Capital. Strong numbers fail to boost RBL Bank. HDFC Securities has a reduced call on the lender.
Lloyd Metals and Energy gains after it reports over 230 crore of profit in the third quarter against a net loss a year ago. Puravankara meanwhile gains on a healthy business update with sales up 20% in the December quarter.
LTI Mindtree climbs off lows after the management tells CNBC-TV18 Q4 revenues will be better than October-December quarter. Margins are expected to improve 200 to 250 basis points sequentially. Persistent Systems extends gains following its results last week.
Okay, those are all the headlines that we are tracking for you on Midcap Radar. The results, they are coming in thick and fast, and that is something we are tracking for you as well. Well, for the markets at least, we continue to be in the green. Good gains. The Nifty has come off from the highs and again attempting to recover from those levels as well. So right now on the Nifty, we are sitting with gains of 77 points. The Midcap index is the one which is up 133 points in line with the benchmark indices. And Bank Nifty is the one which is actually outperforming with gains of around 0.7%. Nifty IT is the top gainer today, followed by Nifty Auto. And if we talk about what's on the losing side, it's really the realty and the metal index which is not doing so well. A lot of stock-specific action, Reema, is what we are tracking today.
Absolutely. So the first one that we have is Meghmani Organics. That's reported a weak Q3 numbers led by lower utilization production in the pigments division. Let me welcome GS Chahal, the CFO of Meghmani Organics, on the show now. Mr. Chahal, afternoon, and thanks so much for joining in. First, if you could explain what led to the sharp fall that we've seen in the pigment segment. Was it the pricing? Was it the volumes? And you also have a fair amount of exposure to exports. Can you tell us how that fared and what the outlook is?
Yeah, good afternoon. As you know, in the earlier calls also we mentioned that in our two segments, which is agro and pigment division, where agro constitutes around 75% of our top line and 25% is contributed by pigment division. Globally, pigment division is facing the demand contraction and reduction in prices. So that is the overall impact which is happened in case of pigment division.
Okay, so is that continuing in this quarter as well? Do you expect it to continue? Because pigment division for you for the longest time has been the one which is underperforming versus the agrochemical side. How much have prices fallen from the peak? How much of a demand contraction are you seeing here? And which industry really is seeing that? Is it textiles? Any other sector which is seeing lower demand coming in for pigments?
In case of pigments, because end-use industry major is the ink in case of phthalocyanine pigments. So where there is a major contraction which is happening, but it is across the globe for the entire industry which is happening. So in case of Europe, where we have 10 to 12% market share, so there one of the major reasons there is a contraction happening. But we see going forward, because from the last 2 quarters there is a major stress on this and demand is contracted. So inventory in the pipeline has more or less dried up. So we see once the actual consumption will start. So in the coming quarters, we see some revival in the demand happening in case of pigments.
What's the extent of revival that you are expecting? Have you already seen a pickup in orders which will drive revenue growth in Q4? What could your expected Q4 utilization stand at? And if you could tell us the reason for this extent of softness that we're seeing in US and Europe that you alluded to.
Because pigment is not an essential commodity, so that is one of the reasons where due to the fear of recession, so if somebody has to cut the cost, so that is the non-essential items, where pigment. And the second which we mentioned, end use, is ink, where the digital media, so that has taken from the print media. So that is one reason which is impacting the demand. But on the other side, this commercial e-commerce which is happening, and the packaging material is slightly compensating that demand, and that is picking up. So we see at least in the range of around 50 to 60% utilization should happen going forward, which was less than 50 in this quarter. And going forward, it is not big jump, but at least 10 to 15% improvement should be seen in the coming quarter.
Okay, so you're expecting an improvement in the pigment division in coming quarters. Let's stick to the pigments division because you're forayed into titanium dioxide, and you have spoken about, the last time we spoke to you, you did say that December 2022 is when you will be able to commission it as well. You're looking at a market share of around 29%. What is the current status? Have you already commissioned this plant? And at the initial levels, what will the capacity utilization and production levels and revenue contribution be from this plant?
Yeah, so Puja has been done on 18th of January in this plant, and now from today onwards, the plant has started, and which we see in the coming 2 months' time, plant should stabilize, and revenue contribution should start from April onwards from this plant. And during the first year, we see there should be 50 to 60% utilization we are seeing. And if we talk about top line, so from this plant next year, we are expecting anywhere around 200 to 250 crore of top line from titanium dioxide.
So 200 to 250 crore of revenue contribution from titanium dioxide if it operates at 50 to 60% capacity utilization, and that will start commence from April of 2023.
Yes.
Okay. Out of the total capex of 600 crore in pigments, one of them will be commissioned in April, as you indicated. There is another one, right, which will be commissioned in the second half of FY24. If you could tell us the opportunity size over there, what products will this cater to, and how will you fund it?
In case of pigment, this is the first phase which we have started. So total capacity of this is 16,500 ton. And the second phase we will be commissioning in Q3 FY24. Out of the total capex, we have already spent 275 crore of cash flow has already happened in this, and another 325 we will be spending by December. Okay. So from the funding perspective, we are seeing a 70-30 ratio. And so far, out of the total loan sanction, but 250, we have drawn only 100 crore.
Okay, all right. So for agrochemicals as well, the multi-purpose plant that got commissioned in Q3 of FY23, what is the initial utilization that you're seeing here? And generally in the agrochemicals, are you seeing demand continuing to be at the higher levels, because export markets, that's a big exposure as well there. What is the outlook on the agrochemicals segment in terms of margins for you?
Yeah, in our case, as I mentioned, so 75% is coming from agro division, and the last quarter only we have commissioned our multi-purpose plant. Now that is getting stabilized on, sale has already started, and we see significant contribution from that plant from April onwards next year. And if we see utilization perspective, we see in the first year it should be around 50 to 60% capacity utilization. And it should add at least 350 to 400 crore of top line in the next year.
Okay, all right, Mr. Chahal. Thank you so much for joining us and giving us the demand check and what's happening as far as the company fundamentals are concerned as well. Thanks a lot. That's the word coming in from Meghmani Organics. By the way, important flashes at the bottom of your screen. NSE has to pay 100 crores to SEBI as an amount in the co-location case. So it did not make any illicit gains in co-location case is what the outcome is right now. Of course, we'll keep getting more details for you. They have slashed SAT, that is appellate tribunal. They have slashed that particular order that they given earlier of 625 crore rupees, and now NSE has to pay 100 crores. Of course, the details is something that we'll get our colleagues to give us more and come with an analysis as well. For now, we'll slip into a short break. Stay tuned. We'll be joined by the management of Maharashtra Seamless to discuss their third quarter earnings. Stay tuned.